Hey everybody, gotta give it the usual 1 second to fire up, and then we'll jump straight in. I hope everybody's doing great today. And there we are. The market has been completely on fire. Despite the infrastructure bill, a little bit of blips, we're still incredibly strong. So as usual, let's jump right in and not waste any time. Math, money, freedom is the name of the game here. We've got a pretty broad set of topics today, and we'll go through them very quickly. And as usual, this is edutainment, so welcome in. So first of all, we're going to talk about crypto appeal. And a lot of people are still trying to get people to join in. There's many that are unconvinced. So what are the top reasons for people to be interested in digital assets? So I thought the survey was worth sharing. So 78% of US and European investors surveyed found the digital assets to be a very appealing investment, up 6% from the previous year, which doesn't sound like a big deal. But the three most appealing characteristics, to many of them, are number one, uncorrelated assets. So it's very important to diversify our portfolio. I would have thought people were interested in the exponential gains, but hey, what do I know? Second thing, innovative technology. Again, I call BS on that. And third, high potential upside. That could be true. But, there's a whole bunch of other stuff there. One of them, actually, the very last one is kind of interesting, is kind of censorship resistance and free from government intervention. A lot of people are looking for that. And those two last ones that I mentioned should be at the very top of the list. But I thought that was fun. Worth sharing. So if you're trying to convince a loved one, this is the asymmetric bet of our lifetime. Jump on, grab some, and something will appeal to them. So let's talk about the crypto market cap. This is very interesting. You'll notice on a lot of my charts, hello Tempe, Arizona. I know it's super hot there now probably, and I'm in a very hot place myself. And crypto market cap, we are about 1.82 trillion, which is good. The key thing here is you'll see that red line on this chart. That's the 200-day moving average, and we are above that, which is great. And I'm going to talk a bit about that, the importance of that 200-day moving average. Simplest thing ever, but has a lot of psychological influence as well over people's decision making. Now, back to Plan B. You guys know I love him. Quick refresher here. We are basically 16 months after the halving. The red line is how long this market is, and you can see that we are still heading north and we are back on track, according to Plan B. So the second leg of this bull market will be a little bit elongated and should bring us to great places. The two key lines here, remember the first light green line is about 100,000 target. A lot of people are talking about the 100,000 target. I've been talking about 108,000 since the beginning of the year. And the second one is the 288K. That's the stock to flow cross asset model, which is a much more bullish one. But we'll see. Again, Plan B remains as bullish as ever, and we'll see. But he also agrees that this whole bull market could be a little bit elongated. So let's talk about what I've been talking about as well for a long time. This is the Bitcoin liquid supply draining, what they call the supply crunch. So every single week, as every single week goes by, more and more crypto is leaving the exchanges. And basically, the demand for this absolutely scarce, inelastic monetary asset continues to increase. People are catching on. Adoption is rising. Supply is getting pulled off the market at a feverish pace. And the price isn't reacting compared to the gravity and the seriousness of the supply shock, the supply crunch that's coming. Now, the derivative market bearishness is trying to fight gravity sometimes, and when the supply side is squeezed. So we'll see what happens. But the key thing here is we saw again another big drain of nearly 200,000 bitcoins off of the market, and technically the amount of liquid supply is about 1.8 million bitcoins. So not very much. Look at that big chunk of illiquid supply. That means it hasn't moved and it's not going to move. So the world, once the adoption happens, are going to look at that very small little sliver on the left. And maybe if the price goes high enough, people in the middle one might start selling to get some money. People are saying that if Bitcoin hits 50,000, and that could happen tonight, this thing is moving so fast, people might be tempted to sell and take some gains, the short-term traders, but we'll see. Now, this, another feather in the cap of the $100,000 target, this is from our friend Mr. Lee. from Fundstrat. He says Bitcoin is headed to $100,000 by year end as a key trading rule kicks in. And basically, this key trading rule for him is what he calls his third rule of Bitcoin. And that is, again, here we are, that when it's above the 200-day moving average, that is a buy signal. So let's look at the chart and see exactly what he is seeing. So Fundstrat, Bitcoin headed to 100K. You can see Bitcoin just breached that 200-day moving average. And I put in a little spaceship there to signify this should be the blast off level. And remember, we are basically having me check the prices because this is my favorite time, is talking to you all, because there's so much good juju from you all that typically Bitcoin pumps. So right now, since I started, Bitcoin is up $227 because I had a little marker of where it began. So small pump, but we're back up above 46K, which is critical. A little blip today, people worried about the regulation stuff, but that's what Mr. Tom Lee says, heading back. And it's funny that people, I mentioned this I think yesterday on DCA, people don't want to buy it at 29,000 or 28,000 or 30,000 or 32,000. They wait for it to go above 45,000. And then they're convinced, okay, Bitcoin's gone up over 50%. Now it's time to jump in. And here we are. So big congratulations to everybody who bought the dip. Well done. Now let's talk a little about Cardano news. You guys know that I saw everything else fly up and Cardano was stagnant. And I've been talking a lot about Cardano being back in the limelight. They have Alonzo coming up. They have the first smart contracts launched and they are successful so far. So who knows? Could be time for a little Cardano run up to $3.50. Not financial advice, of course. But they also got a listing in Japan. And the cool thing about getting a listing in Japan, obviously, Japanese are very big into crypto, very crypto-friendly country. They have a lot of money. They invest a lot. But getting listed in Japan is a very, very big deal because not many cryptos are actually listed there. And that should drive a lot of buying pressure for Cardano up. And we'll talk more about that later if there's any questions. And people may think that I'm not a Cardano fan. I have a Cardano bag. It's not as big as some of my other bags, but it's good to have. So infrastructure bill. This, believe it or not, is still a work in progress. And this is a funny quote. This is a retweet from Jack Dorsey. And he says, basically, I personally like to thank the US government for so poetically demonstrating the problems we are trying to fix by attacking Bitcoin in a $3.5 trillion infrastructure bill. I love spelling out all those zeros to show exactly how much money that is. But the key thing here really is, Senators Warner, Toomey, Sinema, Loomis, etc., they reached an agreement. And for some strange reason, some guy out of Alabama who is retiring tried to shove in a $50 billion defense spending amendment. And I bet you somewhere, this guy in Alabama, I don't even know his name, is probably getting donations from the companies that make the missiles and the bullets and the guns and the grenades and the airplanes and the helicopters, the war machines. Bitcoin fixes this. So it just shows you how pathetic. And again, I'm not political, but these last few days have made me lose all faith in how government operates. And I have a lot of friends that have been warning me about this my entire life, and I always ignored them. But now I'm really vested because of crypto. Anyway, it'll come to pass. It's not a big issue. But this is kind of interesting related to Bitcoin. So the Democrats in the United States reveal a $3.5 trillion budget. Again, recognize the numbers, all those zeros. And they are sidestepping the debt ceiling. The debt ceiling, for those of you who don't know, is kind of a limit on how much the US can borrow to fund the government. And they just said, you know what? We're going to do away with the debt ceiling. We're just going to print the money anyway. So they did that. So expect a lot more quantitative easing. They think they can somehow close a lot of this debt gap that they borrow from taxing crypto. But that literally will be a tiny spit of a spit in the bucket. It's totally insignificant, and the money printing will continue, and therefore all roads lead to Bitcoin. So a little bit of that news. And this was kind of nice. I thought it was a very nice summary as well about future freedom. And I did touch on things like running on your own node. Somebody asked a question, does it make sense to run your own Bitcoin node? What are the pros and cons? And we covered that in some detail. But this was a beautiful little chart from Stefanel, I think it was. It's basically how to secure your freedom with money, the future of money. So buy Bitcoin, control your own keys, run your own node, use CoinJoin to protect your privacy, and then pay with the Lightning Network. So how hard can it be? But basically, people are trying to pull themselves out of the existing financial system. People are waking up to the fact that this money printing can't continue willy-nilly, just out the wazoo, whatever you want to say. And people are looking to secure their financial freedom. And that's how you do it. And once you do that, nobody can touch you. So, thought that was an interesting little illustration. Now, a little bit of Tesla news. As you know, I'm a big Tesla bull. And I think people need to have a lot of crypto. But at the same time, they also need to have a little bit of Tesla, because this company is really revolutionizing the way the world works. Love him or hate him, Elon Musk is, I think, one of the geniuses of our time. I might get some hate for that, but I don't care. So Tesla got a good boost in their stock today. Like literally, it's up $100 over the past week. It had a huge dip post earnings, as most stocks do. Buy the rumor, sell the news. And but this was interesting. So this Jeffries, pretty good analyst, they expect Tesla to rally 22% over the next 12 months, which would take it up to $850, which is theoretically where I shorted Tesla last, by the way. So it's a nice round number. And they basically say they are changing the whole EV game. They are driving the EV, electric vehicle game. They have no legacy, and like other car companies, and nobody can touch them. And the adoption and acceleration of electric vehicles is continuing around the world. So that would be great news for Tesla. But when a conservative analyst like Jeffrey says it's going to 850, that's code for $1,000. Just so you know. So Tesla upgrade as well. What this means, we had some great buying opportunities recently. A lot of people are now saying, oh, should I buy now? Should I buy now? And I'd be a little bit concerned buying near the $750 mark when we could have bought it $540, $600, $620 last week, etc. So everybody plan your entry points very carefully. And also, this is a very volatile stock, so there's always dips. Just look at that last couple of months there. 3, 4, 5 amazing buying opportunities. So let's talk about gold tankage. That's kind of the elephant in the room. So precious metal mining stocks got crushed across the board. Last night I tweeted about it live, and this is kind of the continuation of the multi-month lows, lower lows for gold going down. And there was something related to strong US jobs report that they believe could be the reason for gold tanking. I don't think it is. I think people are beginning to sell their gold to get into a better investment, because they've waited 11 years, they've gone nowhere but backwards. And even with all of the quantitative easing we have today, it's still going backwards. Gold, we have a problem. So people are beginning to say, okay, I'm done with this. I'm ditching and getting out. And that was the $4 billion sale last night. That's Sunday night. So triggered a whole bunch of stop losses and usual stuff. So let's look at our little gold thing. This is incredible because it was actually at 0.046 12 days ago when I first did this. And it was 0.039 on Saturday. And it's 0.037 today. And that is a staggering, if you look at the 1 month chart of gold divided by Bitcoin, it's free falling. It's basically hyperinflating and nothing else you can say apart from that. So we'll see what happens. I guess Peter Schiff might be buying gold soon. Now, a lot of people ask me, they want to buy a house. I believe everybody should own their own castle. That's always been my conviction. But here, the US real estate, and this is the same in Canada, this is the same in parts of Europe, like the UK, there's a huge demand for houses and very, very little supply. And this analyst basically expects 10 years of growth for demand and complete lack of supply as we go forward. So despite everything else, a lot of people are calling for a housing crisis, housing crash. I still believe there might be one next year. For the lower end of the housing market, but not the medium end or the high end. And that could happen, but we'll see. But there's simply, with the population growth, which isn't even that high in the US, there simply aren't enough houses to go around. So that bodes very well for people making real estate investments. But just borrow as much as you can at a fixed rate, okay? Now, in Fun AMC news, AMC plan to accept Bitcoin at all locations by the end of the year. This is from CNBC. So that is great. So the question I have for you now is, can Bitcoin can save the world, but can it save AMC? And I know we might have some meme stock fans out there, so I better watch my words. But looking at the fundamentals of AMC, basically, extremely volatile share price. Look at this chart. Look at that short squeeze. Like it went from, I don't know, $6 or $7 straight up to $60 in a couple of days. And the salary pays himself extremely well. You will all be happy to hear. Tens of millions of dollars lining his pockets nicely. The insiders are selling like there's no tomorrow, and they keep issuing more and more shares, and the shareholders have been absolutely diluted like crazy. The fair value of the company of AMC is probably under $5. So go meme stocks. That's the world we live in. If you want to make a pretty safe bet, shorting AMC at $35, $40, and just being in a position to wait, you do well. There might be some volatility, there might be a couple of squeezes along the way, but if you can ride it out, gravity will win at the end of the day, and it has to. But I just feel bad because the hedge funds are the ones that are manipulating these stocks, and they are hosing the retail investors. So retail investors, be really careful out there. We look out for you here, so if you like this content, hit the subscribe and like. So I'm going to open up to some Q&A and hope everybody's doing good, and I hope... Oh, we have some help. I'm going to switch cameras. Hope you guys can still see me. And Bitcoin is up $17 since I last gave you the quote. And Ethereum is $31.50. That is awesome news. And tons of other good stuff as well. So let's find out any quick questions for everybody out there. And a big thank you to everybody joining in. Happy Monday. Animesh Anand. What impact will moving ETH 2.0 in December will have on its price and that of Bitcoin? So there's a couple of things that are going to happen. One is hopefully they'll be able to solve all the scalability issues and gas fee issues, because the problem with Ethereum, I mentioned it again on DCA last night, is the network is just being overloaded. It's just growing so fast through the network effect, and they need to fix that. And therefore, in the meantime, Polygon, etc., will have a place in this world. I think the big thing is the burn that happened with EIP 1559 is about 36% of the daily issuance. After ETH 2.0 in December, that burn will go to a deflationary environment, which will have a huge impact on the actual crypto itself. And that's where I believe Ethereum could fire, like in December, January, February, could go above $10,000. Not financial advice, just looking at some of the growth rates and the network effects that could really happen. You got your Raoul Pal as well. He's pounding the table. He's saying this could go to 20,000. I think I even heard him saying 40,000 once. So I think it'll all be goodness. And so far, not only have they proved that they can flawlessly implement and execute, but also they brought their deadlines forward. So it means Vitalik and his team are well in control. Alpha Jester, should we be concerned with new having to report transfers over 10K to the IRS? No. Basically, and we send a smaller amounts at a time to a private wallet instead. So my advice, again, I'm not a tax advisor or anything else, but you would be surprised how much the authorities can track. They're knocking on all the doors of all the exchanges, and they know who's holding big bags. So if you ever get caught hiding money from the IRS, they're going to be on you for the rest of your time. Same thing in places like Scandinavia. Same things probably in Australia. Just, pay your taxes. Everybody's making money right now. Everybody's just making tons and tons of green. Pay your 20% or whatever long-term capital gains and just be done with it. I would not advise trying to hide. And also the government is investing heavily in more tax IRS personnel to find people. So be very careful. It's not worth it. Life is short enough as it is. Thoughts on AMP, worth keeping or sell? We are taking a deep dive. That's from Grens 101. Thank you for your question. We are looking at AMP and the tokenomics. There's a few things in there that are a little bit scary, and we will have a report that we will share. We're testing out some models right now, and we will have a report we will share that takes into account all the tokenomics and regulatory risk and upside. But so far, AMP is not on our buy list, so that means we're on the fence or actually a little bit negative. Neon Visual, good to see you again. The more money they print, the more there is to come to crypto. Exactly. But Neon Visual, the other important thing you need to remember as well, the more money they print, the more they devalue and debase the currency in which we value Bitcoin. And that's why I want everybody to start thinking in terms of Bitcoin terms when they price things. If you're buying a coffee, is that 1,000 Satoshis for that coffee? Because that's the way to think. Because if we talk about Bitcoin going to $1 million in the year 2030, at the rate of money printing, $1 million isn't going to be a lot of money. It's going to be about $540,000 worth. So, and being a millionaire in the future won't mean a lot. So keep that in mind. Thank you, Neon Visual. Scott, Aave, too late to enter. I've been buying Bitcoin, ETH, Link, and Sol. Good selection. Aave is a great one. And let me just check the current price and see. 374. Let me see if there's a way of, sneaking a little limit order. I actually told somebody literally yesterday on Discord, put in a limit order for Aave at $351. That would have filled at midnight last night, Pacific time. So be patient. This thing swings. I think Aave at 350, not financial advice, is where I would accumulate because I see it going very high and going from strength to strength. But just don't buy it right now. Wait for a dip, and then if it dips more with some crypto weakness, get more. But this is kind of like a FOMO time right now. There's so much bullishness, so much strength. Everything is just on fire. I mean, everything. Well, the only thing that I saw, let me see if there's anything even red today. Bear with me 1 second. Oh, Hex is red. Surprise, surprise. People are up on the game. Happy and Hex are red. So, and that's a list of like 100 cryptos. And they're the only two that are red today. That gives you a sign of exactly everything is going up. Everything is going up. So, Aave, get a little nibble, Scott. $351 and to see if you get a fill. Again, you would have got filled a few hours ago. The Super Trooper, how do you feel about GBTC? It's the only way I can invest. GBTC is great. I still think it's about like a 5% discount on GBTC. So yes, not a problem in a retirement account. And thank you for your donation, Jacob Gentry and Toby. You guys are so cool. So let me see if there is anything else. Oh, I have somebody managing all the super chats. So big thank you to KH for doing that. Killigilla, good to see you again. Please tell the folks why they shouldn't borrow against their Bitcoin and ETH to buy more Bitcoin and ETH, and tell them why they really shouldn't do it on BlockFi. Well, I can't badmouth BlockFi, but BlockFi keep on pulling down their rates, and it's not worth it. Also, there's a little bit of smoke, like there is at Binance and other places, so just be careful with BlockFi. A lot of weird things going on, I think. We'll find out. But when they were offering 8.6% of Bitcoin, then they changed it to 5%, and then that's 0.935% for return on Bitcoin. It's just really not worth the counterparty risk. And everybody, don't ever borrow to speculate. Number one rule of investing. Don't ever borrow to speculate. So Killigla, thank you for that. I know it seems like a crazy time, but it was okay to do it last year with Bitcoin at 4,000 or 7,000 or 9,000. But now that it's already up to 50,000 nearly, that would not be advisable. Bomb Biggie, you're here all the time. Thank you so much. I started buying crypto right after the crash, 19th of May. Great work. So I bought the dip and was the best thing I ever did. And of course, DCA ETH is very bullish. Awesome, Bob Biggie. So happy for you. A lot of people are making money like they've never made before. So again, just do your homework, do your research, structure a very nice portfolio, be patient. That's probably the number one rule of investment, and then everything will be fine. Should we trade alts versus BTC or dollars? MS, I think that means trade altcoins to buy Bitcoin or dollars to buy Bitcoin. It depends on which alts you are in. So it's a bit of a hard question without knowing exactly what alts. But if you're holding very, very risky ones, especially with maybe some regulatory risk, and you're in gains, trade them in for the safer asset. The returns on Bitcoin may not be as high as some of these speculative assets, but Bitcoin's never going to blow up. So that's where you're safe. I shouldn't say never, but 99% chance it'll be extremely safe. Let me see. Henry Bailey, do you teach crypto trading? If not, can you recommend anyone? What I do is I post live trades that I do, and I will be teaching a hedging class for Bitcoin shortly, but that's kind of, I do it behind Patreon, which is now completely sold out. So, but if you're interested in learning more of that stuff, there might be some openings in September if people don't renew. So thank you, Henry. The Walking Red. When ETH 2.0 goes live, do you think most of the unlocked ETH stays liquid to validate? Will you ever stake? Yeah, we're actually, coincidentally, that exact topic is coming up tomorrow, the Walking Red. I shouldn't let that cat out of the bag, but we were going to be talking about that and a new kind of retire model. So the big lockup becomes unlocked in March 2022, and that's when there will be some downward pressure. So when ETH is staked, it does become liquid again. And that big lockup, you can expect a lot of people to dump a lot of ETH, I reckon, in March 2022. So do not be careful. Make sure you hedge your bets at that time. One Bradham, I know you don't plan to sell your Bitcoin. Why wouldn't you sell towards the top and buy a Bitcoin during a bear market? Because my cost basis is very, very low. I'd be incurring some pretty hefty tax bills. And there's also no telling. Like I don't need the money, and I trade other things and make much better returns. I much more prefer trading derivatives on equities, options on equities. And that for me is a much bigger return. Kind of my Bitcoin is just kind of like it's like buying a piece of real estate. You don't trade real estate, you own it. As Michael Saylor says, like having a piece of a New York City block or a block in cyberspace. So that's the way I see it. YK824. Are we not so far from DeFi mass adoption that the time we get there, all projects will be as good as ETH? Might as well wait till then to buy alts. Interesting question. I think mass adoption of DeFi will be a little bit delayed. And the reason for that is because the regulatory scrutiny. Remember, the politicians, they're paid by the bankers, and the bankers are scared to death of DeFi. And they don't want it. They don't want it interrupting their insurance business or their banking business or their exchange business. But it's coming, and it'll happen. But that's why I think everybody needs to own some ETH, because that is the cornerstone of all things DeFi. And then some select names on top of that. You know, the Uniswaps, the Aves, etc. are all good to have. But yeah, hope that answers your question. YK824, thank you so much. Mrs. B, been in since March and hodl, but hoping to sell this time around for some profits. Bought high, but also bought the dip. Yep. I just advise people, just from the stuff I shared, you know, the future is extremely bright for Bitcoin and Ethereum. And we are early in this market. There will be some people selling probably Bitcoin at $50,000, thinking it's going to go back down to 30,000. But I don't think that's the case. I think you're better off holding for longer term. But let's just look at as I mentioned, the supply. That tiny sliver of orange is what's available. And the big money is coming in. And the sovereigns are coming in. And the pension funds are coming in. If retail sells, they don't care. And I just don't want people to be left behind. It's like, imagine owning a Bitcoin and say, oh, I sold it at $50,000. And then it shoots to $160,000. You can't get back in. And that's the thing people need to consider. So it is volatile. We don't know where this is going to go. But I think the likelihood, as I've been saying since the dip, it's much more likely to go up than down. S. Wood, James, have you ever tried your talents at futures trading? Like the ES? Yes. I used to trade currency derivatives over 30 years ago. So, yes. Thanks for your donations, Greg B., Christy Talbert, and Mojo. Very big thank you, guys. And we'll take a couple more questions. Oh, Caligula's back again. You're too kind. Please, hang on a second. Did I cover that one already? Yes, GK, sorry. How much time left before it's too late to become a whole coiner? And will Solana reach your previous price prediction? Yes, I believe it will. my conservative price prediction. And I think people, not financial advice, but I think it would be dangerous to buy Bitcoin above $65,000. And that's the previous all-time high. I do think it's going to blast past that, but your returns become far diminished. So for example, if Bitcoin goes to 100,000, you're only making kind of 50% on your investment. So grab as much as you can. When I look at the strength of Bitcoin these days, every single dip is going up. We're up $440 since I started this video. Thank you, everybody. And Ethereum went up $32. So this is just, when I look at the charts, any little dip, like back in the day, even a few months ago, dips will sometimes stay down for days, but now they're lasting minutes. Somebody is buying. Algorithms are buying. I can see it in the charts. I can see it in the numbers. Over-the-counter trades are happening. People are on this. And remember, $4 billion of gold was sold last night in one transaction. $4 billion. And I guarantee you some of that money is going into Bitcoin. It's not going into stock market when it's at an all-time high. So that's just my gut spidey sense, and I could be wrong. There was a guy I heard on some video, somebody sent me, said, could be the ramblings of a madman. Mr. Nash, I think, a very funny fellow. Okay, let's go. Quinn, is iTrust Capital a trustworthy company? And if you have IRA funds to transfer? Yes, I do believe they are trustworthy. Their insurance coverage is a little bit sketchy when you look into it, and their fees are kind of high. So, if you need that tax shelter, go for it. It's the best, I believe, for all crypto players, but I don't promote or shill anything. But if you do have funds to transfer and you want a piece of this game, that's probably the best game in town, for sure. Max Alto, how should we think about the longevity of this cycle? What factors are in play? Again, we lost nearly 3 months, call it, and the original bull market was supposed to run until October, maybe November. So add 3 months onto that, which will take us to beginning of March, middle of March 2022. That's my line in the sand right now. But remember as well, as I always say, this bull market will not have the retracements the other ones have, and that's what everybody's very nervous about. But if we have a blow off top, if Bitcoin suddenly shoots up to 100,000, which can very easily do from where it is now with the supply that's on exchanges, all it takes is a couple of big buyers and we're there. And then people will either sell, or if the big money follows that big move, then we could go parabolic and have that blow off top. And that it just, if that does happen sooner than later, then we reach the top faster. But the strength that we're seeing right now over the past 10, 11 days has just been phenomenal. So there are the factors. Max Alto. Bombiggy, you're back in. I have nothing on exchanges. I have 2 Nano X just in case I break one. So I like the saying, keep my keys, my coins. Yeah. And I used to be, I've seen so many people lose their crypto. I was very wary of your average person doing self-custody. And we're going to talk more about that shortly. But I've completely changed with all the changes happening right now in the marketplace. Everybody should really take the effort to self-custody. And in fact, I spent about probably half an hour today trying to buy a new Nano, Trezor, etc. You can't find anything at all. Everything's sold out. Everything's sold. So people are buying these things like this. They're going out of fashion. So yeah, if you can get and don't, please everybody, don't buy a hardware wallet on Poshmark or Craigslist or eBay or anything like that. Make sure you get it directly from the source. Okay, so be very careful. And let me see. Bombiggy, good job, sir. Be safe and protect yourself. Preppy Gal, DCing into GBTC for the last few weeks. Wait until it dips, since still a small discount. Keep buying. What would be a good entry point? So GBTC, let's have a very quick look. I know it did a big bounce today and last week. GBTC is back fashionable again. and the discount is approximately still around 5%. Yeah, I think anywhere under $38 or close to $36 in a dip would be good. But I think the discount is going away because the demand is going crazy right now. So hope that helps Preppy Gal. Somebody's mother. I wonder if they'll be required to notify the US government of trades by non-US citizens. Seems incredibly invasive. Yeah, there's ever since 9/11, the terrorist attack on the US over 20 years ago, privacy and all that stuff has gone out the window. The government has full rights to look at everything that you have. So, any good citizen anyway shouldn't really care. Everybody should have nothing to hide. So, but yeah, they can see everything, no matter where you are, no matter what you do. And there's companies like Palantir that help them do that as well. FYI. And in full disclosure, I own some Palantir. Greg B. Not too smart here. Bought Tesla and MicroStrategy at 800. We were close to break even. Sell and reset or DCA? Yeah, Greg, what happens, the way you can make money, if you do get into something high, average down. Like I bought a stock called CRISPR, and I bought it at 150. And I was like, ugh. And then it tanked. That whole sector went really, really weak. And but what did I do? I went in and bought more and reduced my price. And now I am very profitable. It's $138 now. It hit 142 earlier today. So yeah, if the lesson I hear for everybody is if you do buy something high and then Tesla goes to 540, get more, reduce your cost basis. And that means you get back to profitability much faster. Same with MicroStrategy. MicroStrategy and Tesla are going to 850 if this market continues pretty fast. So you'll be profitable soon. So Greg, stay calm. And then some people, the best way is not just to wait to get back to break even to sell, but again, average down if you can. And then once you get into some profit, then take some of your money off the table. Bilial, thoughts on Luna? Yet we have looked a little bit into Luna. It is okay, but there are a few little issues. Again, we're coming out with this detailed crypto analysis of where we see problems, which will be a model-based system. But Luna is not one that I own, and that is for a reason. Hey, James from RWR72, I own Uni and making dollars. Good job. Worries about regulation. Is a swap BT good idea? Yeah, I have a Uni position as well. You've got time. So Uniswap is the leader in the space. I have a position I'm holding. It'll take the regulators a long time to get to it. And I think Uniswap is based in New Jersey or New York. And they've already taken steps to make sure they don't have the scrutiny of the regulators breathing down their neck. They started delisting some things that weren't appropriate. So the Uniswap team are on top of it. And it's kind of funny because you kind of claim that they're decentralized and they have a team that can do all this and orchestrate all this stuff, which means they're not fully decentralized, but it still is a good play. So from that perspective, you should be fine. Let me find out where I am. And there's a long list of questions. Yes, so RWR, hold on to Uniswap. You'll hear from me as well. If I start seeing and sensing regulators coming down on these decentralized exchanges, you'll be the first to know. And I'm still in with you. And if I sell my Uniswap as well, I'll be the first one to share it with you all too. Dre Bober, will you cover the significance of the upcoming Taproot upgrade as well as potential of E2 for BTC? Bitcoin's potential goes beyond being a store of value and digital property. Yes, I am extremely excited by all the money, all the development, all the work that Twitter's doing, etc., the smart contract capabilities of Taproot. But we can definitely do a session on that. I mean, it's only a matter of time. Well, one of the things that we like about Bitcoin is it's very slow and it's very safe. But there are things we built into it, more privacy and smart contract capability and some other additional hooks. So we can talk about that. But it shouldn't deviate too far away from the store of value because it is a pristine store of value. And everybody's now talking about Ethereum being a store of value too. So hopefully that helps. Thomas Lean, your thoughts on BTT, BitTorrent? I keep on getting that question. I don't have a position and we haven't dug into it. Probably by virtue of the fact of its name. We don't like the name, but Thomas Lean, I promise you, just ping me next time, whatever, 50 cents, and I will answer that BitTorrent question for you. Sorry about that. Thanks for your donation as well. Joe Harder, Dale, Randall, J-Ram, good to see you again. Cryptolicious, and MNXCP. You guys are all very generous and very kind. And please, no more super chats. Because there's a lot of work goes behind the scenes to find animals and spend all this stuff on too. So, but thank you everybody. You guys are so kind. And the animals appreciate it. And keep the thoughts coming in as well for charities that you guys really want to consider. Jacob Gentry. A buddy of mine has ETH at a decent price, around 2,200, and have 37. Should he convert to BTC? He should definitely take a portion of that, at least 10 or 30%, 35% of it, if he has no BTC, and yes, do that. I do believe having about 30 Ethereum would be worth about $1 million in the year 2030 at the very least. But with the way the network is growing, it could be a lot more than that. But having the combo is very safe because there is a lot more risk with Ethereum than there is with Bitcoin. Darius, don't know if you've covered Quant before. What are your thoughts? Yes, we looked at them. Tokenomics are absolutely horrific. Be very careful of Quant. We actually reviewed that this morning. So Darius, thank you for your question. And be careful. Check it out. There's a great paper on Medium on the tokenomics of Quant. Paul Z, would you consider buying Bitcoin ETF from Canada with margin? If yes, what percentage of margin? I have no problem. So I use margin extensively for options trading. And if I was buying equities, I'd always be using 50%. So it depends on what your portfolio is looking like. If you have 10% allocated your portfolio to GBTC, no problem using 50% margin. If it's 100% of your portfolio, that's risky. So that would be my answer. So to determine exactly how much, and you should never have all your eggs in one basket as well. Okay, so Paul, thank you for the question. Monkey Bono Bogorilla, I'm feeling some serious FOMO right now. Everybody, FOMO is how you lose money. Stay disciplined, be patient, lay your traps, lay your limit orders, and wait. So I have been DCAing, just don't feel like I bought enough. Yeah, just sit tight. The explosive growth of Bitcoin over the last couple of days is, I did say that over the weekend I expected a bit of a breather, but it is going from strength to strength. We're going to be at 50,000 before we know it. And then there could be a couple of breathers. There could be a little bit of market manipulation. I always said as well, once we get above the 42.5K, it won't take us long to get to 50. That window, there's no sell walls between 42,500 and 50,000. But at that 50,000 to 51,000, we're going to get a lot of psychological resistance. And what I mean by that is this is when people who are traders, they bought at 28,000, they're going to say, oh, I'm going to sell at 50 and make my little 60, 80% return. And good for them. So there will be sell pressure at that level. And then what that does, then the market manipulators start buying big short positions. And then they wait for the right time. They'll dump a bunch of crypto on the market. They'll break through all the people that are leveraged, which are becoming less and less. And then they'll manipulate the market and buy it back. So be prepared for that. I do see that coming. Once we get to that $50,000 to $51,000 level, which could be in a couple of days or less, then set your traps. And that's what you need to do. So Monkey, that's your plan, okay? Don't FOMO in. FOMO is always bad. Voltaire at 325. If you were new to crypto and had 25K to invest today, what would you do? Well, I can't give investment advice, and I would probably think very carefully. I'd identify all the winning cryptos, but I keep half in cash because I think there could be a bit of a dip. And I'd look at things that really haven't really moved yet and get a little bit of Bitcoin if you don't have some already. But remember, it's so heartbreaking that everybody's all of a sudden wants to buy and we're nearly at 50,000 when it was $20,000 cheaper a few days ago. So it's like, again, I can't give advice, but If you don't have any Bitcoin, everyone needs some Bitcoin. So take a third of that, just stick it in Bitcoin right now, and then use the other 2/3 to buy in at dips or look at some other names like Solana, maybe even some Cardano, because that's so cheap now and that hasn't run. In fact, let's see where Cardano is right now. Bear with me. Hold on a sec. I'm looking in the wrong list. And yeah, like Cardano at $1.45. Looks to be, yeah, you could have even had it, even a few hours ago, you could have bought it for $1.39. That would be a little position that I would buy, because that's a straight one to cheer. And I haven't all of a sudden become a Cardano cheerleader, but everything else has doubled, and Cardano is still lagging behind. So I think that's going to run next. I would bet my bottom dollar, Cardano will go to $2.40, probably very quickly once the Japanese start buying as well, as I covered. So, Voltaire, tough question. So do a lot of work. Nashville Dude, will Jack Mallers' strike, which charges always 0 fee to purchase Bitcoin, damage the value of Coinbase? Yes, not just strike, but decentralized exchanges and all of the competition coming on board. They're going to eat away. If you look at Coinbase, which actually blew up today, it's doing really, really well. And I expected Coinbase to hit about $300 in short order. But they have 56 million, 60 million customers. Only 6 million of those 60 million customers are on Coinbase Pro. The rest all pay about 4% commissions. And that's not sustainable. And that's why I think Coinbase will have a hard time next year unless they start generating other revenue lines of business. And they have a lot of activities, and they've got a very active venture capital fund and stuff. So I'm not too worried about them. But the gravy train that they're on right now with those huge commissions, they're not going to last forever. Sedgwick, Dish Pandey, how are you? Do you think a loan with Celsius at 1% and then buying Bitcoin or ETH with that and earning rewards with the Celsius is a good idea? Yeah, again, borrowing to speculate is a bad idea. But if you have enough other revenue streams to pay back that loan in the event that the asset goes to zero without harming your family financially, then it's worth the speculation. But again, Bitcoin's already run. We're nearly at 50,000, so there's not a lot more to go. So just be very, very careful with what you do. But, Celsius at least do a little bit. But something, if everything went to zero, it would have no significant impact, material impact on your family. That's what I'd recommend. Cameron, knowing that the Patreon group is now full, how may I assure my entry for the potential opening in September? You mentioned. Yeah, thank you. So I wanted to keep it small. I'm not in this for the money or to monetize anything. That's why I don't sell anything. I don't ask people to subscribe or any of that stuff. Yeah, just wait. So a lot of people don't auto renew, or the credit cards expire, and there's always a big drop off. So I don't know when the clock switches to the first of the month, but just be around, US time, East Coast time, early morning on the 1st of September, and you should get in. So Cameron, thank you so much. And send a message to the inbox as well. If it's something you're really passionate about and you can find ways to give back to the community, then we'll take care of you somehow as well. Disux, what do you think BNB will do? I have quite a few from before the dip, and I bought between 300 and 400. So I bought BNB at $200 early this year, and I bought it again at 400, and I sold it all at 350 about 5 or 6 weeks ago because of all the stuff going on. I think they have a lot of scrutiny coming their way. For that guy Brian Brooks to quit like that all of a sudden, that means one of three things. He saw something he didn't like. 2, he thought CZ was crazy. Or 3, he didn't want to be associated with some of the stuff that's coming down the pike. So neither of them are good. And that's why I'm very risk averse. So I sold and put my money into Solana or Aave. I can't remember. Whatever I did, it was a very good trade. So that's what I would do. I just be very careful. Well, this cryptoverse is fraught with risk. You got to just go and just think 90% of what you see out there is garbage. 5 to 10% might be okay. And then 1% is going to be amazing. You just got to be able to pick that 1% and just be on the right horse. Neil, I've got most of my coins in sell. Is that wise? Yeah, it's bad to have all of your eggs in that one basket. I do trust Celsius, but I would never put more than 35% of my bag in such a vehicle, just in case. You never know what could happen. And, heaven forbid, just imagine a situation, Neil. Well, one of the things that concerns me, I trust Celsius with everything, but I don't trust the government. And the government could step into Celsius and say, we're shutting you down, and all accounts get frozen. Then you're stuck. So, I don't know, it looks like you've got a European sign on your currency. It means you're probably reaching in from somewhere overseas. So I don't know, like if you're in the UK, I'd be very worried because they're doing some crazy things right now in a very anti-crypto way. Black Crypto Walker, 60k plus BTC feasible, being that a lot of people got caught holding bags from that price. I don't have any BTC. Do you think I can get 39 to 41k soon? Bitcoin's definitely going to 60k. In fact, it wouldn't surprise me if it goes straight to 50k tonight or by the end of this week. Not financial advice. Just from what I see in the charts and the data. I was looking at a lot of Glassnode stuff today, and it's just being accumulated like crazy, and the supply crunch is coming. So we could have a wicked dip down to 40k. If we shoot to 50k, retail sells and the market's manipulated, could get that big downwick down to 42k again. It's volatile, but it'll be bought up instantaneously. And right now, I think the family offices, the pension funds in Germany, the sovereigns, even the Russians, the Iranians, the Turkish. I saw an interesting chart last night that the Turkish are dumping all their gold, and the Kazakhstan government is dumping their gold, and they're buying Bitcoin. So I think there's just too much buying pressure. That's just what I see. And I haven't seen anything different. And that's been my thesis now for 2 months. So I don't think we'll see 39k. Not for a long time. Cod Fuel. Should I take money out of my S&P index fund? Buy more Bitcoin? Yeah. Yes. That's as long as you have a 3 to 5 year time frame, it's a no-brainer. Again, remember, there's always a 1% chance it'll go to zero. Index fund is very safe, but the return also is not very good. And we're also at that top. When S&P 500 hits 4,500, it's time for it to take a breather and come down. Tim, Tensity. And, okay, you guys are amazing. We've got to stop the super chats because I can't talk forever. Although sometimes when I'm here with you all, the market goes up, so it's kind of fun to watch in real time. Tim Tensity, new to crypto. You came in at a fun time. Would you recommend buying 0.15 Bitcoin today at dollar cost averaging? If you're new to it, and if 0.15 Bitcoin is a small part of your total investment assets, yeah, just get your foot in the door. Because I think the likelihood of it going to 50,000 very soon is much more likely than it's going back to 42,000. So that would be my take. Thanks as well for your donation, Mike F. and Carl Hopkinson. Another cool name. And big thank you to everybody. Oh, more questions. And please, I've got to wrap soon. I've been going for a long time. And 55 minutes. And I can feel my voice is already being frazzled. Carmar, your thoughts on Voyager for the yield? Yeah, it's funny. I am dabbling a little bit with some kind of, I call it mini staking on Voyager myself. And it's really, it's not bad. So yeah, I'm doing it. I'm trying to do a survey on exactly how good it is. I know it's expensive on Voyager to transfer your crypto. Like I was buying Ethereum there and I was sending it to another place. And, the transfer fees were shocking out of the gate. But some of the yields we're looking at right now. And I just got my kind of little report of all the little deposits from a whole bunch of cryptos. And it was quite impressive. I need to calculate exactly what they were worth to me. But yeah, Carmar, not bad. I like Voyager. I like the CEO, but their spreads aren't very good. So if you're an active trader, that's not your platform. But if you need to get access to an altcoin that's obscure and not on FTX or Coinbase, that's where I now go to shop. Caligula, wherever John Galt went, they have Bitcoin. Exactly. You're very kind. Nisvet, check out Zuga Coin. 143,000. Zuga Coin. Sounds very suspicious. Jimmy God, I have 125k left on my mortgage. If you hypothetically think I'm big enough to pay off my mortgage, do we sell all my crypto and start again? No. Keep your mortgage. Keep it at a low fixed rate. Just pay it off slowly. Remember, the longer you have your debt, the less debt you repay. And that's a simple rule of thumb. If you have $1 million mortgage today, the real purchasing power of what it's worth a year from now is about $850,000, $900,000. So invest your money, get better return, and then when you make a lot of money from investing, you pay off your mortgage. But in the meantime, invest as much as you can. Just look at Michael Saylor and his whole playbook is borrowing. He borrowed, I don't know, $760 million at 0% for 7 years. And then he got a second loan of nearly $1 billion for 3% or something crazy. And he's making huge returns on Bitcoin. So that's what I do. Again, low interest, fixed rate, mortgages, borrow all you can. Algo is not moving and down 30%. What to do? MS, I'm still holding Algo. It'll pop. Same thing I said last week. I said it's only a matter of time before Matic pops. It popped. Cardano's popping. They'll all eventually pop. What the world does, people like me, you scan all the top names. Algo for me is a top 15 crypto. And just wait. And people will notice, oh, it hasn't moved. Therefore, I should invest. Then when they've seen everything else double or triple, they'll start applying money into Algo. So just, I'd say, be patient, MS. So it should come around. And I'm still holding my Algo bag too. And I noticed it hasn't popped either, but it'll come. John Carpenter, do you think it's possible to have to be a fully digital currency without having a physical representation, such as for tipping or give money to a kid? Yes, sort of. It depends what the kid has to be able to receive that. But there will definitely, I think in about 2 to 3 years, everybody who has a cell phone will have the ability to transfer and receive crypto. And you can just tip somebody 50 cents worth or, 100 Satoshis as you feel like it. So yeah, that future is definitely coming. Thrasher UK, why are you not asleep? It's very late. You were up late last night as well. Is physical silver goodbye right now? I've been tormented by silver. I keep saying, oh, I'll buy it under 25 and then I'll buy it under 24 and then it's like under 23 and it's under 23 today and it's like, ugh, I just don't trust the metal markets. I don't think there's any return there. It is cheap. Silver is worth $30. Even though I can put together a very nice ornate option strategy and make big returns if it does get to $30, it's just these markets suck right now. I mean, gold should be at 3,000. In fact, there was one thing I forgot to mention. I want to pull this up for you guys. There's a key number that I saw. So basically, I was looking at trading pairs for gold and Bitcoin, and I was looking at the fractals. Now, basically, according to my estimates and price predictions for gold, within a year, gold should be at, based on fractals only, $2,600 a troy ounce, and Bitcoin should be at $150,000. So if you look at those numbers, the $2,600 for gold and $150,000 for Bitcoin still remains the best bet by far. And same thing for silver. Something is wrong. Silver has the industrial use, that's why I like it, but it's just not moving. And until I see something happen, I wouldn't touch it. So Thrasher, buy Ethereum. Safe bet if you want to speculate on something. That's a safe place to go right now. Everybody's saying Ethereum, my target's 8,900 at the end of this bull run. And that's a 3x from here. Corey M, what are your thoughts on H-bar? H-bar is garbage. I don't like it. And I got so much hate when I did my H-bar review. I had people coming out of the woodwork. I had people that I worked with 20 years ago from, Europe call me up and say, hey, take that video down. That's wrong. You don't understand it. And it's such a centralized corporate type structure with really bad tokenomics and a whole bunch of other stuff. It's not a crypto in my mind. So, Corey, thank you for your question. Check out my video. I got so much hate for that. I've never had a video that had under, I think it was 98% dislikes. It was like 95%, 5% dislikes. So I got so much hate for that, but I left it up, and I believe in being very honest, and we do a very fair, detailed, structured due diligence on everything we look at. Mitch Eker, if you only hold Bitcoin and Celsius 70%, 30%, would you take some of that sell? Absolutely. Yes, you got way too much sell. You always just get enough sell. It will appreciate in value, but nothing like what other things will do. And it's good to have, if you want that platinum account and you live in a country where you can take advantage of some of the lending and borrowing and stuff like that, then it makes sense. But not really as a speculative asset for all of your bag. Terry Buckner, what do you think the SEC will destroy XRP? Or why do you think the SEC will destroy XRP? And if you have 5,000 tokens, what would you move it to? Oh, there's so much to move it to. So the couple of things I don't like about XRP from my research into it over the years: the management team, the history, and the 51 billion tokens in escrow, and the way they just dump them to line their own pockets. It's similar to XLM. So same team, by the way. People from XRP moved to Stellar Lumens. So just look at the tokenomics, read about it, and you'll know why XRP is the number one target for the SEC. And they are there to protect people. But the racket that XRP has been conducting for a long time is very bad. And I know there's an XRP army out there, and I'm going to get a lot of hate for this. But I'm just saying, if you want to invest in it, do. But there's much safer places to put your money. And it will be under the scrutiny of the SEC big time. It is number one target for them. And, Ethereum is safe. Bitcoin is safe. Solana, Aave, Chainlink, Terry, these are much safer places to park your money with much more upside. Thanks for your donation as well. Joe Bird, True Crypto, Airstripped, Jim Bernard, thank you all so much. And really, please start super chatting because I'm running out of gas here. Let me see. How many do I have to go? Oh my goodness, there are so many questions. Please stop super chatting because at this rate, we're going to have every animal and we're going to start donating to children's hospitals as well. So big thank you, everybody. Let me see. Where am I? And a big thank you as well to KH for the support. Let me see. I'm just catching up here. The list is so long. Airstrip, not financial advice. What is your confidence level for Bitcoin in 20 years for funds locked into retirement investing? So honestly, you can't think of investing anywhere beyond 5 to 10 years. After that, you don't know if the world will even exist. You don't know if a quantum computer is going to take down Bitcoin. So I will be reassessing everything in the year 2027, 2028. And figuring out exactly where the world is going. And that goes for everything. So when I put 10-year price predictions, take them with a grain of salt. You can go pretty accurate out to 5 years, but after that, nuclear war could end the planet, and then everything is for nothing. So I think Bitcoin does have a very good shot at becoming the world currency. That's what they call hyper-Bitcoinization. I think that can definitely happen. But when you are investing, always wear your tap dancing shoes, I say, and be prepared to reassess your thesis. But I'm all in on Bitcoin for now, but that could change in 2028 or 2035 or 2040. Hope I'm still around talking to you all. That'd be so good. So Matt W. James, do you see Solana making a run the highs in tandem with Bitcoin, or wait for Bitcoin to make its move and then go into the alts? So typically the alts follow Bitcoin, and I'm looking at a lot of charts this morning. Everything is lagging. Bitcoin dominance is still very strong. So we'll see. But you got to remember the type of money coming into the market right now. It's institutional, and they want the lower risk assets. Therefore, the big money is going in over the counter into Bitcoin. They're not buying Solana. They might be buying a little bit of Ethereum, but that's what's happening. So yeah, Matt, there will be a lag. It'll be Bitcoin first. Mary Buckley, fun last question. Are you European? Yes, I am. If so, where? I bounced around. I lived in many, many different places all across Europe. I spent a good chunk of my time in places like Switzerland and stuff like that. So that's me. Black Mamba. Hypothetically, if someone wanted to all in on a cryptocurrency, should it be Bitcoin or Ethereum? Black Mambo. Bitcoin is always the safest. Ethereum will run faster. As I said, if Bitcoin 5x's, Ethereum will 7x. So you can make more money on Ethereum, but Bitcoin is safer and much more durable. Thank you for the donation as well. Rodney Toothill, Jason Merchada, and Band Again. Band Again, good to see you, buddy. And you were all very generous, and we're completely overwhelmed with all the good donations you have. But please save some money as well for your families and stuff. Jacob Gentry, will he lose any money if he converts those 37 ETH into Bitcoin right now? Ethereum is... Let me have a quick look. This is an interesting question. I love these. I'm going to do a quick little analysis and compare. This is a super interesting question. So right now, if I look back, oh wow, yeah, I think, if he converts ETH into Bitcoin, no, he'll be leaving some money on the table, because I think Ethereum, once it starts to run more, even though it's run an awful lot, it'll run a lot faster. So if I look at the last, say, 3 months, Bitcoin is up 30% and Ethereum's up 31%. So literally they're neck and neck, and Ethereum should normally be running faster. So I think in answer to that question, I would bet you trading Ethereum into Bitcoin right now, you'd leave some money on the table. Wait for Ethereum to run and then maybe do it, or do some now if you have no Bitcoin. That's the way I'd see it. So hope that's the end of the question, and I hope everybody's doing well. Jacob, oh, thank you for your day. Well, yeah, no more time to go. So I'm being told I need to get off the air. So big thank you, everybody. Love you all. I love being here, and expect a fun one tomorrow. Be safe. Enjoy the markets. See you soon.